Japan just dropped a massive 21.3 trillion yen stimulus package, roughly $135 billion, and the global markets freaked out almost instantly. The yen slid to its weakest level in months. Long-term Japanese bonds spiked to levels nobody's seen since the 90s, and traders started watching Tokyo like a pressure cooker about to explode. And here's why this matters way more than it sounds. For decades, Japan has quietly been one of the biggest reasons the United States could borrow money cheaply, buying piles of United States treasuries and keeping interest rates low. But now that support is fading fast, and the ripple effects are already hitting mortgage rates, credit cards, car loans, pretty much everything regular Americans rely on. Tokyo's new stimulus is huge and honestly kinda risky. Out of the whole 21.3 trillion yen plan, about 115 billion is coming straight out of Japan's general account, way more than last year. They're rolling out help for rising prices, like local food support, gas and electricity subsidies, and even direct payments, $45 to every household for energy, and one-time $130 checks per kid to help parents breathe a little. They're also cutting taxes, pushing a 10-year plan to revive shipbuilding, and ramping up defense spending to hit 2% of GDP, something Japan hasn't even come close to in modern history. But the second Japan announced this monster plan, the world basically said, "Hold up, how are you going to pay for all this?" The yen tanked, bond yields shot up, and investors started pulling away because Japan now has to issue a ton of new debt, way more than last year, and demand for their super long bonds is already shaky. Traders even compared it to the UK's bond meltdown in 2022 when the market went into full panic mode. Japan isn't the UK, but the ingredients are weirdly similar. And here's where things really get messy. Japan has been one of the biggest foreign buyers of United States treasuries for 40 years. At its peak, it held around 1.2 trillion in United States debt. But now Japanese investors are selling. In the last quarter alone, they dumped around 62 billion in United States treasuries. That's not a routine adjustment, that's a "we're pulling back" signal. And when Japan steps back, borrowing gets more expensive for everybody. Mortgage rates that used to sit near 2.6% are now hovering around 7%. Credit cards are at all-time highs. Car loans are getting brutal. And that's before we even talk about the yen carry trade, the quiet beast that's been pumping money into global markets for years. Investors borrow cheap yen, throw it into higher return assets like United States stocks, emerging markets, even crypto. And as long as rates in Japan are low and the yen stays chill, everything works. But now yields in Japan are spiking, the yen is swinging around like crazy, and if the currency strengthens too fast, all those investors have to unwind positions at the same time. We already saw a taste last year when the S&P 500 dropped 3% in one day for basically no reason except yen pressure. If this blows up again, it could hit everything from tech stocks to junk bonds to crypto. And the wild part? This is all happening while households are already struggling with higher borrowing costs. Analysts from BlackRock to Morgan Stanley are telling people to prep for a world where money is just more expensive, meaning fixed rates matter, diversification matters, and you might want to look at assets that don't get crushed when rates rise.